The silent majority is no longer silent. This is The War Room with Owen Schroyer.
Please stand by for further details. We return you now to your regularly scheduled program.
Whatever reason. But then in live time, in this segment, the video we played with the full clip has now also been edited at the nearly the exact same spot, but not perfect. So that either shows that there's some sort of an AI kicking in, and it's obviously not perfect, but there's some sort of an AI kicking in to cut that speech, part of a speech out, or all these news organizations are trying to find that exact spot in the speech to cut it out, but because they're not coordinating, it's like at a different timestamp every time. Okay, well, there you go. The mainstream media is censoring Trump even more. All right, I got other news.
Piece of shit
I didn't
didn't start
intend
the
to
stream.
spend all this time on it. I want to go back to Trump, but I mean, the story here is pretty obvious.
Can finally.
They're censoring Trump's speeches, and there's some coordination or consistency with what they're trying to censor. So I don't want to belabor this. I've made the point. I still want to go to the rest of Trump's speech, but there's something strange going on here.
Respect for me, dog.
I mean, I could sit here and pontificate and put it under a microscope.
Who the fuck
know what's
do
going
you
on. They're
think
censoring
made
Trump's
the eclipse
speeches,
happen? Fucking bitch.
and it's all happening in live time at the exact same spot where he talks about stolen elections. So, I mean, that's something. There's something going on with that. And look, okay, so you can go watch the full speech probably on Rumble, and we're going to pull up the thing on Rumble to make sure it's not edited, or I can just go back to these videos and we can just catch it if they edit anything else. But folks, not everybody goes to Rumble. Not everybody understands how they edit things like you do. So this is how they manipulate and deceive the general masses that don't understand that this is going on. So it's like, oh, let's edit out the part where Trump talks about 2020 or election theft or voter fraud or swamping the vote and all this stuff. Who's making that decision? How is it being made? How is it happening in live time? So yeah, okay. So the crew just confirmed the whole thing is on Rumble. So I mean, do I go back to this? Do I go back to the videos that they're obviously editing, and do we look for more edits? Or do I play the full clip on Rumble so we can watch the full clip? So let's go back to the edited versions, and maybe we'll catch them editing something else. I mean, because there's still more of the speech that I think is worth hearing. I was planning on being done with this. We caught him editing it in real time. We caught him cutting out the part where Trump talks about election theft, and now we can see it's clearly coordinated or something is going on here. So we'll go to the ones that they're editing, and then maybe they're editing other stuff out of it too. But we now can confirm that the full speech on Rumble completely unedited. But I'll catch it. I mean, I'll see if they edit it. So let's just go back to the Trump speech where they edited it, and let's see if they edited anything else. Do we need a minute? Here we go. Yeah, guys, there we go.
We're going to have more people voting, I think, than anybody can even imagine.
Oh, yeah.
And if that happens, if we swamp them, you know, swamps too. First, you want to drain the swamp, but you want to for purple very successfully. We're all ready to add another 200. That's far more than I said I was going to build, but it works so well. We got Mexico to send 28,000 soldiers for those people to say Mexico. Oh, they didn't give the well. They didn't give the world. They gave more. They gave us 28,000 soldiers for years. That's why my numbers were so good. 28,000 soldiers. I said, you have to give them. They said, we wouldn't do that. Why would we do that? By the way, did you see Mexico's now asking for $20 billion a year to even sit down and talk to these people? They wouldn't ask me for that. $20 billion a year. Have you seen that? I don't know, Mike Rogers. I think we're going to have to stop that. But $20 billion a year they want just to sit down and talk. Think of it. How crazy is it all? Where have we come? But they said, no, we won't give you soldiers. Why would we do that? Oh, he said, yes, you will. Oh, you're going to give me the soldiers. No, we will not do that. Of course, you know, that's what you'd say. That's what I'd say. You will do it 100%. I will do anything You ask, including I will make a really major bet. You will do it. The 28,000. Nope, we won't do it. I said, here's the story. If you don't have this approved, it was Friday evening, immediately I'm going to sign a bill where we're going to tariff your cars and all of the other things you send in to hurt Michigan and to hurt other, but regardless of that, because the new threat is China is now building factories. Not with me, they weren't. In Mexico, they're going to build cars in Mexico and sell them, and they think they're going to sell them over our border with no tax, okay? Not going to happen with me. With Biden, it's going to happen. And Michigan and the United Auto Workers
that's
will
so
be totally
key right there. I mean, that's so key. And it's basic stuff that everybody understands. But see, Trump's a businessman. He gets it. Biden is an ice cream eater.
So what made you decide to start a podcast? Obviously, everybody and their mother has a podcast. Yours is genuinely special. What made you decide, you know what, I'm going to add my name to the hat of podcast?
Information policies in June of 2023, but maybe these news organizations just kept their policies afraid of being censored. So what's the story? Is it a weird AI censorship that's censoring this Trump speech? Or are the news organizations censoring it because they're afraid they're going to get banned off of YouTube? Maybe they're not taking the new policy seriously, or they don't even know about it. So I can't think of anything else that's going on. But, hey, you know, they're just editing the number one candidate for president of the United States with 217 days away from an election. They're just editing his speeches. Somehow, some way, his speeches are getting edited. Can you imagine if it was a Biden speech and they edited it? Oh, my gosh. It'd be the biggest story. Oh, they're manipulating Biden's. They're deceiving. It's fake news. But it's Trump's speech, and there's some sort of a weird mystery or AI or algorithm or self-censorship. So we go back, though. I want to play more of this speech. I promise I'm going to get to other news. There are a lot of other things developing here, but it was a big speech. It was an important speech, and I find out they're editing it. Continue.
Okay? And not going to happen with me. With Biden, it's going to happen. And Michigan and the United Auto Workers will be totally out of business. They're the biggest car plants anywhere in the world. And they're building them in Mexico. A friend of mine builds plants. That's all he can do. He can't walk across the street, but he's the greatest builder of car plants. But you ask this guy, who won the game last night? I don't know. I couldn't care less. All he can do is build plants. He's unbelievable. I said, I want to take a look at some of the plants. He said, okay, are you ready to go to Mexico? So that was bad enough. Then he said, because China's building the largest plants anywhere in Mexico, right along the border. And they're going to make cars. They're not doing it with me. With me, they're going to be tariffed to a level that those cars will not happen. They can't do this to us. They've already done. And whoever heads the auto workers, United Auto Workers, should be ashamed of himself, approving the electric vehicles, all electric. It's the craziest thing. They don't go far. I was just telling the people in the back, I was going to use folks, but I don't like using the word because Biden used it in every single speech. Hello, folks. You know, it's like a nervous habit with him. Hello, folks. Thank you, folks, hundreds of times. So I sort of put that out. So, but I was telling the people behind me, it would have been a nice time to use that term too. But I said that, you know, when you look at all of the horrible decisions that have been made, but this decision with the electric vehicle, I mean, outside of allowing prisoners and mental institution people and terrorists into our country with no checks, no nothing, no checks, no nothing, by the millions and millions. The electric vehicle one is one of the dumbest I've ever heard too, because I was in a beautiful place called Iowa, and we had the Iowa primary, which I won by the highest number in history, by the way, which we're very happy about that. By double the highest, actually. We had double the highest, the best margin doubled. Anyway, so I love it, but it happened to be a little cold that night. It was 40 degrees below zero. And there were more electric cars. I said, what are all those cars doing all over the streets? They're electric cars, sir. They don't work in the cold. So they're going to have to do a little business first. And I want them people to buy an electric car if you want one. But I want them to be able to buy every other form of transportation, I want you to use gasoline a lot because we have more gasoline than any country anywhere in the world. So we're playing into China because they're going to make all the, that's what they have. They have that. We have gas. We have gasoline. We have oil and gas. We have gasoline. And I said, isn't it a shame? We play away from our strength and we play right into their strength by doing this. And the first day I promise you, I will sign with the electric
the commie
vehicle
Chinese
mandate
own
is
Biden,
gone.
folks. They own
If
it.
you want an electric car, you can buy it, but you're going to be able to buy every other form of.
But it's just Biden selling
of
us out.
push.
It's just Biden cutting deals with the Chinese to enrich himself and his family. That's all it is.
Engine and motor that you want, and you're going to have it, and the car companies are going to have to go back. You know, I don't know if you know it, the reason the car companies, the massive subsidy that this country is paying to try and get these cars sold. We have hundreds of thousands of cars, electric. They can't sell them. People don't want them. And you got to go with the market. We've sold about 5% of our cars are electric, and that's fine. I think they're fine if you like to go short distances. If you want to take a trip, I don't think you want to do that. I don't recommend electric. Maybe someday they'll be able to do it, but right now they're not even close. So we're going to end that immediately. We're going to end it day one. But we had remain in Mexico. Think of this. We had the 28,000 soldiers, and when I said I want them now, we had them the following week. That's why our numbers are so good. But we have remain in Mexico, safe third country agreements, asylum bans, Title 42. When people were sick, we don't want them coming into our country with contagious diseases, and they have it. And all of a sudden, you see these contagious diseases spreading, and everyone's saying, I wonder where they came from. I can tell you where they came from. And we had what's called a rapid removal policy, very rapid removal, like how about the following day and even that evening. And all of that's been ended by crooked Joe Biden. It's just so sad. And that's why you see the numbers on the chart where they look like the rocket ship. Joe Biden and his party came in and they blew it all up. Everything was, all the things we did in so many other ways too, with trade, so many things. We took in hundreds of billions of dollars from China, and they're soft on China. They're soft on everybody but me. They're very tough on me. They are soft on everybody, but they're tough on me. But that's okay. It's going to all work out very nicely because the people of this country understand it. You can't interfere with elections like they do. And it's the only thing he's got going, if you think about it. The border policies are horrible. All of his policies are horrible. You look at inflation, inflation's through the roof. No matter what money people are making, the inflation is better. Unless you quadrupled your salary, the inflation is just destroying people in this country, where bacon is up 3 and 4 times, where the food prices are so bad, the energy prices. And by the way, energy is going up again, in case you haven't noticed. Fentanyl and opioid deaths in your state are up 32%, and deadly drugs pour across the border at levels that nobody's ever seen before, steering thousands and thousands of these vats of poison right into Michigan lives. And once peaceful, suburban Michigan is really now, you're under an invasion, and there's no way you can vote
Pretty good.
for this guy. I mean, look, I don't want to be
Yeah.
too casual about it. There's no way you can vote for this guy. You see what I see, and there's just no way. If he makes it to the starting gate, which I find it hard to believe, but if he does, there's just no way. We have to get law and order back. These are the best people in the world. They will know. The sheriff's behind me, and this is in all states. Somebody said, how will you get these criminals out? I say the sheriffs, the police officers, the police, law enforcement in their local communities, they know every bad kid. They know every bad person. They know their first name, their middle name. They know their phone numbers. They have their cell phones. They have everything about them. They know exactly what to do and how to do it. These guys know exactly what I'm talking about, but we have to let them do their job. And we're going to work out a federal immunity for police so they're allowed to do their job without losing their house and their pension and everything else when the liberal governors and mayors don't back them. In Troy, Michigan, a band of illegal alien thieves recently went on a rampage at a local mall, breaking into the diamond store, smashing the display cases with hammers, attacking the employees, and making off with armloads of jewelry. You read about that, a lot of jewelry. Oakland County organized squads of illegal alien gang members are helping, and they're hiding all over and breaking into rural communities. They're hiding in bushes, actually. They say they hide in bushes and then they break into a house when the people leave, and sometimes when the people are there, which is probably worse. But into the rural communities, suburban communities. And, you know, the suburban housewives actually like Donald Trump. You know why? Because I'm the one that's going to keep them safe. They like to say, well, the suburban housewives, I don't know. I think I do great with the suburban housewives because they want to remain safe. But they loot the jewelry, they take their purses, electronics, watches, all of their cash, and the people come back and they say, what happened? If you don't want illegal alien criminals crawling through your windows and ransacking your drawers, then you must vote for the fact that we have to throw crooked Joe Biden out as fast as possible, the damage he can do. And we're talking about a certain type of damage. An even bigger damage could be World War III, because this guy has no clue. He can't put two sentences together. And he's dealing with Putin, and he's dealing with President Xi, and he's dealing with Kim Jong-un, all people I know very well. We were under no threat from anybody until this guy got in office. Now they're talking nuclear all the time. We didn't talk nuclear. I rebuilt our nuclear power to a level that nobody has, but you don't mention it and you don't talk about it. But now Putin's talking about it, and now Kim Jong-un again is talking about it. You had 4 safe years. You were safe because they respected your president and they respected the United States of America. And now you're not safe, I will tell you. We could end up in World War III with this lunatic.
Day.
Various counties recently, 3 illegal alien migrants were arrested for soliciting sex from children, yet the radical left-wing governor,
Now look,
Gretchen Whitmer, a real beauty she is. I had to deal with her in COVID. She was the only one that was able to go sailing was her husband, right? Her husband went sailing, and everybody else is locked in their house.
And I've got more news reports
Not too good.
on the illegal immigrant crime wave and then breaking into houses. They are taking massive safes. They have this, you know, they take these dollies and they have these massive safes that they're stealing.
Mhm.
They're squatting in all these houses too, thanks to Democrat Party policy. I mean, it's just crazy. It's just absolutely nuts. And the situation he talks about with World War III, very serious as well. And Biden is just out to lunch, man. I mean, we're in the Super Bowl, and we don't even have a quarterback on the field with Joe Biden in the White House. You know, the center's about to snap the ball, and it's fumble. So that's all we have is fumble. That's the only play we have with Joe Biden on the international geopolitical stage is fumble, because he's not under center. He's not there. He's the MIA president. And we have more news about what he's up to. Won't even talk to Putin. He talked to Xi for the first time in months. That's a joke. That's just Xi saying, okay, Joe, turn around, drop your trousers, and bend over. Yes, sir. Oh, so hold on. Call the people in. We need to clean up in aisle Biden butt crack first. All right, now, okay. So, I mean, it's just a joke. The only play we have on the international stage is fumble because we have no quarterback. But this is why this speech is so important. All these things he's talking about are real issues for real Americans. And for an April 2nd speech with still months left until the election, there are more people paying attention to politics. Things are about to be so hyper polarized and politicized, you're not even, your head is going to spin. When we get into September and those final weeks and months till the election, things are going to get so hyper politicized, you don't even understand. Because you have average Americans that normally wouldn't even know who the president is, wouldn't even care, wouldn't even understand how it impacts anything. They get it now. And they might hear a Trump speech. They might see a Trump statement or social media post. They don't. The average American doesn't want to hear about Trans Visibility Day. The average American doesn't want to hear about abortion. The average American doesn't want to hear about all these left-wing activist cults. They want to hear about energy. They want to hear about how they can get their grocery bill down, their energy bill down, the price at the pump down, how they can start to live in safe communities again, how they can start to afford a home again, how they can get all these damn illegal immigrant invaders out of their cities. Taking up all their money, resources, how we can fix our infrastructure. Drive down a road and not have a bridge fall out. But all the Democrats have is left-wing activist cult activity. So Trump being very focused in his messaging, it's very important, and it will resonate, and it will lead to a massive landslide in 2024, apart from one thing. And we all know what that is. The old Biden vote Viagra. Which there's some interesting things developing in that front. Who knows what this could be, but End Wokeness has the data here. He shares the website with the public data available. The numbers of voters registering without a photo ID is skyrocketing in Arizona, Texas, and Pennsylvania. I guess, Texas, potentially a swing state, maybe. Since the start of 2024, Texas, voters registering without an ID, 1.2 million. Pennsylvania, 580,000. Arizona, 220,000. HAVV allows voters to register with a social security number. Illegals are not able to get licenses there, but they can get social security cards for work authorization permits. The Democrats know exactly what they're doing. You give the illegal immigrants a social security ID, and then you register them to vote. So they might not be able to go out and vote themselves, but here's what ends up happening. And it's the same thing that happened in these counties in Michigan in 2020, where there'll be, let's say, 300,000 registered voters in a county, and then 400,000 people vote. Well, that's not possible. How do you have 400,000 votes in a county with 300,000 eligible voters? It's called cheating. It's called a scam. Democrats are good at it. So now they're inflating their numbers. So now they're inflating the max capacity. By the way, this happened all across the country. Arizona, Texas, everywhere. So now they're increasing the max numbers, and they give these illegal immigrants social security numbers. They get them registered to vote. They might not be able to actually go and vote, but they increase that cap, that voter cap, so that now the Republicans who are watching the Democrat election theft go on, now they can go into these counties in Michigan or Arizona or Texas, and instead of the voter cap being 100,000 in one county, now it's 125,000. And now you can flood that county with all these ballot harvested votes and mail-in votes. And it won't be obvious that there was cheating because they synthetically raised the cap. And so that's what they're doing. I mean, just here in Texas, 386,000 new voters registered without a photo ID in a single week. 277,000 of them in Texas. And these numbers are crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Texas is a big state, but these numbers are off the chart. California only had 5,600. Arizona, 26,000. Well, 27,000, really. So what's going on here? What's going on here? The good news is the Republican National Committee with Laura Trump and Michael Whatley are actually watching this stuff, and they're actually getting lawyers ready to investigate this stuff and poll watchers ready to make sure everything goes smoothly. But the Democrats are playing this game of chess too. So they're finding more ways to cheat and get away with it. Yes, absolutely. But that's why, what does Trump say that they edit out of his speech? We have to swamp them. We have to swamp them. Trump is going to have to win by probably 10, 20 million votes just to beat all the Democrat voter fraud, which I have no doubt he can do, but that's what it's going to take. That's the swamping he's talking about. So it's like if you're gambling on a game and the favorite is favored by 20 points, well, then if you bet on the team that's favored, they're going to have to win by 21. They're going to have to win big. So that's what this is like. The Democrats they get a handicap coming in. They got like 10, 15, 20 million votes in the bag. They're inflating the numbers in these counties so that you won't notice that there's more votes than voters. And so, yeah, you're starting down. You're starting 20 points down. You got to win by 21 points. You got to have a massive landslide. And that's what is being set up. That's the epic battle we're in for the future of the country and thus the future of the world as we know it. And here's my theory. And I don't want to get too much into the geopolitical international stuff because I covered that on the Jones Show today. But I think the world is looking at America and giving us one last chance. Because, folks, the American media, the American liberal, the American Democrat, you guys can sit here and act like Joe Biden is legitimate and there was no voter fraud and, oh, yeah, Trump lost and Biden won legitimately. You can sit here, but you are lying to yourself, and every other foreign leader that's not a complete liar knows that the election was stolen from Trump. They know that Biden does not represent the American people. They know that the current status of D.C. and the corruption and the psychotic nature of it does not represent the American people. So I think they're kind of looking at this like, all right, let's give the American people one last chance to not be run by psychotic crazies, and we'll have to readjust because they might not like the fact that Donald Trump actually puts America on the playing field and puts a quarterback on the field for us. But they realize that Joe Biden as the president is truly a threat to world peace. The corruption is so bad in D.C. under this guy's leadership. It's a threat to world peace. So they would rather have a legitimate dealer in there and Donald Trump that might threaten their financial bottom line than Joe Biden in there who's a corrupt, sick son of a bitch that lets the deep state and the military-industrial complex run rampant, that is now leading us to a hyper-tense situation closer to World War III and nuclear war than we've ever been. And with Israel striking an Iranian embassy in Syria, and with Russia blaming the Moscow terror attacks on the West, that's serious stuff. That's serious stuff. That's no joke stuff. Now, the media doesn't talk about it because most people in the media, most people in your government are just, they're high on the hog. They're living in la la land. But that's very, very real, serious stuff right there. So I think if we don't get Trump in, I think the world is really going to, I think BRICS is really going to sit in. They're really going to try to turn away from the petrodollar. I don't think they want war, but they'll definitely move forward with whatever wars they want to remove U.S. influence from the international community that's just run by the military-industrial complex and our lust for war and regime change. It's really not good. But that's the state of things right now because of Joe Biden. But American, we don't want this anymore. It's the Biden border bloodbath. You always hear the liberals, you always hear the Democrats say, with all of their crazy mandates, gun control, vaccine mandates, they say, if it saves one life, if it saves one life, if it saves one life. Well, if it can't be applied universally, it's not logic, it's propaganda. It saves one life. Well, how about we secure our borders? If it saves one life. How many Americans have to be raped and murdered by illegal immigrants? If it saves one life, let's close the border. Why doesn't that logic apply there? Because it's not logic, it's propaganda. If it can't be applied universally, it's not logic, it's propaganda. And that's all the Democrats have to offer you. I mean, just look at these numbers. Trump posted this earlier today. I mean, look, I don't want to sit here and do the math again, but let's even try to focus this even more here. Do you see this right here? These are Biden's 4 years right there that I just circled. Is that not bold enough? Maybe I got something bolder here. Here, how about this one? Just to really emphasize what we got going on here. You see that? You see that? There are more in 4 years of Joe Biden than there were the previous 10 years, and it's not even close.
Yeah. Okay, recorded.
It's not even close. Just look at the minors in red. That's what the red represents there is minors, children. Why are so many children coming in under Joe Biden? I mean, just look at that. It's ludicrous speed. We're at ludicrous speed with illegal immigrants. But if it saves one life, we should mandate the vaccine. If it saves one life, we should wear a mask. If it saves one life, we should ban the guns. If it saves one life. If it saves one life, we should close the border. No! No! Xenophobe, raise it! It saves one life, liberal. If it saves one life. These are outrageous numbers here. That's what you get. The Biden border bloodbath. And now hundreds of Americans have been raped and murdered by illegal immigrants. So if it just saves one life, liberal, we should close the border. Of course, the liberals used to be for strong borders. They're not now because you're for strong borders. And the only belief system the liberal has is they hate you and they will be a contrarian to anything you support. Hey, we like breathing air. Wear a mask. Hey, we don't like taking forced medical experiments. Force that vaccine. My body, my choice. Not with the vaccine, though. All right, enough of that. Enough of that. But you've got all these third world dregs coming in. I mean, I got so many stories. I got so many news clips. It's just insane. How about this one? How about group of illegal immigrants squatting in the Bronx, clip 3?
And last Wednesday, when police got a call about a man with a gun just footsteps away from a school across the street. When they arrived, they chased 24-year-old Hector de Sosa Villalta, believed to be from Venezuela, into the basement of the home here at 3259 Hull Avenue. Well, that's where cops arrested him, along with 7 others. Another man, 22-year-old Javier Alborno, tried to get away from the apartment with another weapon before he was also arrested. Now, when a search warrant was in place, investigators recovered 2 more loaded guns, 3 loaded extended magazines, and a box of ammunition with a bag of ketamine mixed with cocaine. Now, De Sousa Villalta and 8 others were charged with criminal possession of a weapon, criminal possession of controlled substance, and acting in a manner injurious to a child. All but 2 were released without bail. Now, De Sousa Villalta was arrested with attempted murder for shooting someone else in the leg. Now, this was all from another dispute that happened over in Yonkers. As for these other suspects, they are also being investigated in terms of another robbery pattern that they're seeing in Bergen County.
So what is happening? You have 2 things combining for a perfect storm. You've got the illegal immigrant invasion, and they can't stay at these shelters forever because the influx doesn't stop. So they have to have a cap on how much time they can spend at these 5-star hotels or these other permanent facilities that they've built, like these pop-up tent cities. And so they end up on the streets, and then they end up squatting. And you really have a hard time believing that this is all a coincidence. And you get these major globalist groups like BlackRock that buy up all these houses. You get the Democrats that write policy to make it legal to squat. Then you have the illegal immigrants using social media to teach people how that they can, quote unquote, legally squat. And then you have all these vacant homes that nobody can afford, and then the illegal immigrants are squatting in them, and nobody can kick them out because of the laws the Democrats wrote. And then what do you have? You have gangs taking over nice neighborhoods. You have illegal immigrants taking over nice neighborhoods. So, normally you pay a lot to live in a nice community, maybe a gated community, a community with low crime for your children, maybe a nice school down the road. And now they take gangs from Venezuela, they take gangs from Chile, and they move them into your neighborhood, and they live there for free, and you can't kick them out because the Democrats write laws protecting them. Oh, and then where do the Americans want to go? Well, they want to move out of the country, by the way. Monmouth University just released this poll. Desire to move out of the country has tripled since 1974. And now it's political independents show the highest interest in moving out at 41%, Democrats at 35%, Republicans at 22%. I mean, that's a whole nother story in and of itself. The Republicans know this country's going to hell in a handbasket because of Democrat leadership, but they want to stay here because they love it and they want to save it. The Democrats have destroyed the country, and they're the ones that want to leave. Oh, the Democrats destroyed California. They all moved to Texas. Oh, the Democrats destroyed New York. They all moved to Florida. Oh, the Democrats destroyed the United States of America, and now they want to leave the country. Isn't that something? Isn't that something? Oh, did you see this one? The Chilean gang members going into houses and taking out massive safes. I mean, you want to talk about a heist? Let's make a movie out of this one. Look at this in clip 2.
Where a team of burglars can go undetected. Months ago, the sheriff formed a task force and caught 7 people from Chile who'd been breaking in and getting away with millions. $800,000 in jewelry and cash from one home alone.
The Chilean gangs have been hitting us very hard. Cash, jewelry, very high-end purses, that's pretty much the target. They're super well trained when they get here. Highly organized. They look like ninjas. They're all masked up, gloves. They each have a backpack with their particular set of tools for their job in the burglary.
Even using a jammer on wireless alarms. The sheriff recommends hardwiring your alarm system and be sure to turn it on.
Yep. Because most of these alarm systems or security cameras are running off Wi-Fi. They just shut it down. Folks, you understand, these are highly trained criminal gangs that Biden is bringing in by the thousands. They're so professional at criminal activity and burglaries that they can take out closet-sized safes and get away with it. And Biden brought them in here. He loves you so much. Trump on the campaign trail, giving hour-plus long speeches that they censor in live time, dealing with all the election interference and persecution by the corrupt Democrats. And then there's Joe Biden, the missing in action president, the no-show president. We don't have a quarterback on the field. I guess every once in a while, Biden makes it out onto the field. James Comer calling him out. Joe Biden is the central figure in the Joe Biden crime family and all the crimes committed. Yeah, he's the leader. He's the Don. He's the Godfather. He gets 10% for the big guy. But hey, all the family was getting rich off of the name, so they love it. They'll cover for daddy. Biden and Xi speak for the first time since November summit amid global tensions. Biden talks to Xi about conflicts from Ukraine to Taiwan. Biden warns Xi on aiding Russia's war in Ukraine, says the Wall Street Journal. Biden warns Xi, give me a break. As if Biden has any upper hand in the conversations with Xi Jinping. Xi Jinping owns Biden. Xi Jinping says, turn around, drop your trousers, and bend over, Joe. As if Joe Biden has any upper hand in these geopolitical conversations. Biden reiterated U.S. concerns over TikTok and call with Xi. And they released this little presser like, Joe Biden had a great conversation. The White House releases it. Joe Biden was strong. Joe Biden was strong on China supporting Russia in the war in Ukraine. Joe Biden was strong on China not invading Taiwan. Joe Biden reiterated to Xi Jinping that we didn't care about TikTok. It can still exist. It just can't be owned by this guy. And we all know the story there. And so the Biden White House puts this out. It's like, look at this latest image of Joe Biden. And they just put Biden's face on like the Hulk. It's like, wow, look at how strong Joe Biden is. And they put him on this Hulk body like, oh, wow, Joe Biden is green and has big muscles and he's so strong and he can run and jump. Oh, he's a superhero now. Oh, my gosh. Oh. As if anybody buys that. No, Xi Jinping owns Joe Biden. And the funny thing is, this is all leverage for President Xi. He could say, okay, well, maybe I'll get this guy to sell, but what are you going to do for me? That's how this goes. No. Xi Jinping eats Joe Biden's lunch and then takes a dump in the yard and tells Joe Biden to clean it up. Oh, it's so hilarious. You read this White House presser. Joe Biden was so strong. He held his line. Oh, yeah, all those deals that Hunter Biden cut with the Chinese communists and the Chinese nationals. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Joe Biden, he's so strong on China. China owns Joe Biden. I would even theorize after the latest round of hearings, and then we find out the conversations between the Chinese and the Bidens in 2017 and 18, I would even theorize that the Chinese helped Joe Biden steal the election. Whether that's through the obvious method of releasing the virus to shut things down, get the mail-in ballot policy, or maybe something more technical. Maybe a combination. But when you revisit that, you realize that basically the Bidens and the Chinese, well, the Bidens and the Chinese were assuring themselves at that point when they're cutting these deals where Biden would shut off U.S. oil, sell the oil reserves to China, and have all this foreign policy that would strengthen China, shutting off our energy, shutting off our production, opening our borders. China would help Joe Biden getting into office to assure that he would be able to do that. Because Biden can't do any of these things. I mean, he's cutting multi-million-dollar deals. The Chinese and the Biden crime family are cutting multi-million-dollar deals before he's president, but how can they assure their investment? How can they make sure their investment is paid in full? Well, you got to get Biden in the White House, and now here we are. And now the world is totally destabilized. And the White House says, look at how strong Biden is. He's the Hulk. We didn't just Photoshop a picture of Joe Biden on the Hulk's body. No, we didn't. Joe Biden was strong on China.
Did
Joe
they actually
Biden
just
told
Photoshop
China,
his body?
we didn't just stabilize. And the White House says, look at how strong Biden is. He's the Hulk. We didn't just Photoshop a picture of Joe Biden on the Hulk's body. No, we didn't. Joe Biden was strong on China. Joe Biden told China to stop supporting Russia in the war against Ukraine. Yeah. And then I'm sure the entire room of Chinese communists laughed out loud. And Joe Biden tried to giggle himself. Xi, what is the thing? Well, I'm about to get my ice cream here, Xi. Do you think you could maybe stop supporting Russia with the war in Ukraine? And then the Chinese communists, Joe Biden, like, yeah, I guess that is kind of funny, isn't it, Xi? Well, the crew is saying they don't even think Biden talked to Xi. No, he might have talked to Xi, but it was just a big game. It was just a big joke. Biden hasn't talked to Xi since November. Biden hasn't talked to Putin in years. But who knows? Maybe it wasn't Biden. Ask Biden. He doesn't know either. Biden warned Xi on aiding Russia's war in Ukraine. Joe Biden, he's the Hulk of geopolitical negotiations. He's so strong on China. Yeah, I hear Biden and Xi in the other room. It sounds like there's some gagging going on. Speaking of gagging, we have the latest gag order on Trump. I want to give an update into this and tell you what it's really all about. It's not good. It's not good. To figure out or just to final up here, the rest of the geopolitical news so we can move on. Congressman Thomas Massie proposes for the United States to withdraw from NATO. So he's doubling down on those comments. And then somebody brought up that Hawaii is not covered by the NATO alliance. It's only the other 49 states, the continental landmass, and then Alaska, not Hawaii. And they say, we need to get Hawaii covered. And Massie retorts saying, actually, I think the other 49 states should drop out. I think the United States should drop out of NATO. Yeah, Thomas Massie, he gets it. He's one of the few that gets it. Police arrest sister of Hamas leader Haniyeh in southern Israel raid. This is pretty wild, and obviously people are suspicious about the whole thing. But the bottom line is the suspect of aiding Hamas in the October 7th terror attack is an Israeli citizen who lives in the country accused of serious security offenses. Evidence reportedly shows support for terror group, and they went and they raided her house. They found a bunch of gold. They found a bunch of Israeli cash. They found a bunch of shekels. I'm not even kidding you. It was just stuffed all over her house. She was in Israel. She was in Israel. The sister of Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh has been arrested of suspicion of contact with operatives from the terror group and supporting acts of terror. Israeli police said in a statement that it had arrested 57-year-old woman who is a relative of a senior member of Hamas, Chabach, in a joint raid with Shin Bet that was dubbed Early Dawn. And they found all this cash and all this gold. And people were saying, wait, she was in Israel the whole time? She was in contact with Hamas the whole time and you didn't even know? So I'm not going to get into conspiracy theories, but that happened. And she was in Israel. She was in Israel. Police found hundreds of thousands of shekels in cash at the premises. How about that? That's something else. All right. We conclude the second hour of the InfoWars War Room, brought to you by InfoWarsStore.com, ladies and gentlemen. And it's your support at InfoWarsStore.com that makes everything we do here possible. Survival Shield X2, nascent iodine, game-changing product. Most people are iodine deficient. We have the answer. That's Survival Shield X3 at InfoWarsStore.com. It will change your health for the better. All right, there really is an unreported awakening going on. It's happening everywhere. And so let me start with this. New York Police Department cop Jonathan Diller's widow calls on city to get tougher on crime during funeral. Quote, how many more police officers and their families will have to make the ultimate sacrifice before the city protects them? Now, this is the tragic truth of our situation. And I've explained this in other words before, how it's very likely I'm going to get home safe tonight. My family's going to get home safe tonight. You're going to get home safe tonight. Your family, my crew, their family. It's likely that we're all going to be okay and all of our loved ones are going to get home safe tonight. But you know what? That's the same situation that the Lake and Riley family thought. And now look at their situation. That's the same situation that Jonathan Diller's family thought. And now look at their situation. These things are tied together. Why? Because these are crimes and murders and deaths that didn't have to happen, but they did because of Democrat Party policy, Joe Biden policy. So you're reaching a point now where people are going to be directly impacted. It's not just going to be they have less money, their living situation is worse, whatever specifics of that is. It's going to be that they literally know somebody who was killed by an illegal immigrant, killed by the fentanyl crisis, killed by a violent criminal in the streets, and they're going to know who to blame, and that's Joe Biden. Now, that might be the heavier situation here, but the average American is not buying into the radical leftist hatred of Trump and, oh, don't vote Republican, they're a racist, or they're a homophobe, or they're this. So, good friend of the show, Alex Stanger, was out on Dirty Sixth here in Austin, Texas, and had some interesting responses asking them about Trump. This is heavily censored, and you'll find out why. But I'm telling you, folks, this whole thing about the Trump hatred ain't going well, and the Democrats' only option is to manufacture votes. You know what that means. Here's Alex Stanger, Downtown 6, talking people about Trump.
Hey, y'all doing YouTube? We are making videos. We're asking people how they feel about the economy. Ask me! How do you feel about the economy?
Hey. I fuck with Donald Trump. They stop letting immigrants in, type shit, and we'll have other people have more jobs. We already here, you feel me? So just with us, and y'all won't have to get no Section 8 and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Hey, chill out, bitch. But hey, on some real though. Hey, Biden. Hold it while you talking. Go ahead and do your thing. Biden and the economy is up because y'all letting other people come over and take our jobs. Let them people, let them bitch ass niggas stay with the fuck they at. I know y'all can't say. I know y'all ain't gonna be able to unload all that.
Oh no, we got you.
But niggas, man. Tight shit. Hey, and shout out Donald Trump, tight shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm a nigga, you hear me? I fuck with Donald Trump, and we going up, and my nigga gonna win. I'ma vote for him too. Y'all better vote for him, tight shit. Hey, follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram, Reckless Money, 2 C's, type. You know what I'm saying? And everybody else, you know what I'm saying? Fuck out of immigrant
politics, and his daughter is deeply embedded with Democrat Party politics. The Obamas, the Bidens, Democrat senators and congressmen. So he puts out statements saying, hey, look, here's this judge, hardcore Democrats, hardcore Democrat family, hardcore Democrat connections. This is the judge coming after me. And the judge says, you can't say that. You can't attack that. And they say it's an attack. It's the truth. It's the truth. Imagine you're in divorce court and you catch your wife sleeping with the judge and you got video and photo evidence. And your wife is sleeping with the judge, and you're like, gee, why is this judge favoring my wife so much in this divorce hearing? And then you catch them in bed together, and you present the photo evidence. And you say, look, the judge is in bed with my wife. That's why he's favoring her. And the judge says, you're attacking me. You're attacking my family. I gag you or you're going to prison. You can't talk about me banging your wife. And she gets everything. Here's Julie Kelly. She's always on top of it. Monthly payments from Adam Schiff's campaign committee to Lauren Merchan's Authentic Campaigns Company in 2019 and 2020. That's the judge's daughter. And all the receipts are here at the National Pulse story. And then Julie Kelly just puts it all out in a timeline. So yeah, you guys can put it all out there, the receipts from the National Pulse story, what Donald Trump is exposing. But he's not allowed to tell the truth about the judge and their Democrat family, and he gets gagged. Look, I mean, millions of dollars, monthly payments from Adam Schiff's campaign committee to Lauren Merchant's Authentic Campaigns Company. So a Democrat judge's daughter starts a campaign company and then gets millions of dollars from Democrats. And then those same Democrats and judges go after Donald Trump. And they get millions of dollars. Folks, this is outright corruption. This is clear-cut corruption. And all Trump does is expose it, and they say, you're not allowed to talk about it. And they gag him from talking about it. And then they have their media propaganda agents say, he's attacking the judge's family. Yeah, if you catch your neighbor, let's say you catch your neighbor breaking into someone's house down the street, taking a bunch of jewelry, and then you say, "Hey, look, here's Joe and Joe from down the street. He broke into your house last night and stole all your wife's jewelry." And then they come out and they say, "Why are you attacking me? You're attacking me, officer. He's attacking me." Like, what are you talking about? You stole the jewelry. You broke into the house. So Trump's like, hey, you're funded by Democrats. Your family's funded by Democrats. You're deeply in bed with the Democrats. You should recuse yourself. The judge says, you're attacking me and my family. I gag you. You can't tell the truth. You can't talk. And the average liberal Democrat goes along for the ride. Do you understand how corrupt that is? I mean, so a judge, so now a judge can engage in just outright corruption. I mean, that is pay for play, ladies and gentlemen. The Democrats have bought this judge. They bought this judge. They purchased this judge's loyalty. They purchased this judge's family's loyalty, and we have the receipts. And Trump simply shares the receipts, and the judge says, why are you attacking my family? I'm gagging you. You can't talk. So now a judge can just engage in outright corruption, outright political pay for play, and then he just says, you're gagged. Wait, pull that back up. Snopes fact check. Did daughter of judge in Trump's hush money case work for Kamala Harris and Joe Biden campaigns. Even Snopes fact check says it's true. And a judge gags Donald Trump from telling the truth. This is just nuts. This is outright political corruption. See, this is what's so frustrating is, your average liberal Democrat will stand up there with a straight face and they'll say, we're against political corruption. And then you show them a bought-off judge by the Democrat Party with millions of dollars going to his daughter, and you say, look, this is outright, raw, total political corruption. And they say, nope, Trump's attacking the judge. You can show a Democrat judge in New York that lies and says Mar-a-Lago is worth $18 million, and then they try to destroy Trump and take all his property in New York, and then they go on air and they say Trump should sell Mar-a-Lago. It's worth at least $250 million. And you say, you just admitted the judge lied about the property value. Oh, yeah, liberals. Yeah, you guys are fighting political corruption. It's like, that's the whole reason we supported Donald Trump.
I think you did, but I really can't remember. Oh yeah, like they valued his house at like way less than it was, right?
Trump. And so it just shows you that liberals are truly mentally deranged and impaired.
Yeah.
And really, they probably do need some serious psychiatric help and care. I mean, this is outright blatant political corruption, and a liberal says Trump is attacking the judge. I mean, for the love of God, look at the open and shut Biden case. The receipts, the texts, the emails, the public statements, the public policies. I mean, it's all right there. Joe Biden, the Biden crime family, the most corrupt political family that we have, all the evidence of, all the proof of, it's all right there. It's all laid out in front of you. And a liberal says, nope, Trump's corrupt. Trump did it. Trump lied about Mar-a-Lago. Trump. Trump's attacking a judge. Okay, well, what about what he's saying? Did you see what he's saying? Here's the receipts. Judge's family taking millions of dollars from multiple Democrats, works for Biden, works for Harris. Oh, my God, Trump's attacking a judge. And then the judge gags him, and the Democrat media runs to the defense and says, yep, it's legit. He's attacking him. I mean, all these people do is lie. All these people do is lie. I can't even, I just, oh, man, it's so frustrating. So frustrating being ruled by liars. And then it's even more frustrating to have brainwashed idiots, a.k.a. American liberals, who go along for the ride. It's like some sort of a sick game to them. Like, ooh, haha, I'm going to go along with the lie because that makes conservatives mad. I'm going to go along with the lie because that makes Trump supporters mad, and I hate them. Yeah, I'm destroying my own future, but I don't care. I'm a jackass liberal. I'm a punk-ass bitch liberal. I like watching people suffer. Oh, I'm against political corruption. Here's the Biden paper play in China and Ukraine and Russia and Kazakhstan. Here's the receipts. Hunter Biden, James Biden, and then here's the 10% going into Joe Biden's bank account. What do you think about that? Trump's racist. Get out of my face. Oh, here's a Democrat judge with his daughter taking millions of dollars from Democrats and working for the Biden campaign and the Harris campaign, and now the judge is going after Donald Trump. And what do you think about that? Oh, my God, Trump's attacking a judge. Oh, gag him. Oh, my gosh. Oh. These people are sick, man. Oh, but see, they won't cover this. Yesterday, a woman from Texas was sentenced to 37 months in prison for making death threats against Judge Eileen Cannon. Democrats, the corporate media, and legal experts are now piling on Cannon for refusing to comply with Jack Smith's demands. They are endangering her life. So the one judge that isn't corrupt, Cannon, the one judge that isn't in the pocket of the Democrats, getting paid off, bought and paid for by the Democrats, the one judge, Eileen Cannon, what do the Democrats do? They attack her. They put out her private information. They dox her. They tell their freaks to go after her. Remember James Hodgkinson? Remember Black Lives Matter? And then all Trump does is put out the truth about a corrupt judge, and they say, he's attacking a judge, gag him. Meanwhile, Democrats are the real terrorists trying to commit mass shootings, mass terrorism activity, threatening judges that don't do what the Democrats want. Remember what they did at the Supreme Court when Roe v. Wade got leaked? Still don't know who did that. It's just like, it's just so frustrating. It's just like, if we could just get rid of Democrats, it's just like, so simple. It's just right there. It's just right there. Everything is just right there. And all we have to do is get rid of Democrats. That's all we have to do. Doesn't mean everything's going to be perfect. Doesn't mean Republicans are perfect. Doesn't mean it's not going to be corrupt anymore. But it's like, my God, I mean, these Democrats are so corrupt. It's unreal. And their voters are so stupid. So frustrating. I mean, even RFK gets it. Oh, CNN didn't like this. RFK tells CNN Joe Biden is a bigger threat to democracy than Trump. Clip 8.
But do you really believe that when people talk about the threat to democracy that Trump poses, do you really think that that is this an equal evil to Biden?
I mean, listen, I can make the argument that President Biden is a much worse threat to democracy.
And of course, he would know because Biden refuses to give him Secret Service. I guess Biden wants him dead. The Democrats wouldn't let RFK run in the Democrat primaries, so they rigged it against him, so he had to run independent. Texas Governor Abbott shares epic video of Catholic nuns slamming evil Joe Biden, declaring voting for Trump, getting Trump back in office would be an act of God. Yeah, it's going to take a miracle. I'm telling you, folks, it's just people understand how corrupt Democrats are now. There's no hiding it. It's just a matter of figuring out how to remove them from our politics peacefully and politically. I mean, that's all it comes down to. And my God, they have all these ways of rigging the justice system, rigging the election, rigging the media, deceiving people, robbing you, giving the country to illegal immigrants. I mean, this is look, it's just straight up. You're dealing with the biggest criminal, gangster, political mafia in the history of this country. It's the Democrat Party. It is a criminal mafia. Biden is the head of the crime family, head of the Democrat Party. And it's a criminal gang. And that's it. And so you'd think you want to get rid of a criminal gang. But what do? They tell the liberal that, oh, Republicans are racist and homophobic and xenophobic and anti-Semitic. And then the low IQ liberal says, oh, well, I don't want to be homophobic. I don't want to be racist. I don't want to be xenophobic. I don't want to be anti-Semitic. I won't vote for a conservative. So I'm just going to go with the crime family. Because it's better to have the country run by criminals than by a racist. And they get the low IQ liberal to fall for it. And they get the brainwashed liberal to fall for it. Oh, but they're proud. Here's the governor of Wisconsin vetoing a bill that would ban men from competing against women, ban boys from competing against girls in high school sports. And he said, nope, we want the boys to compete. Look at this psycho, clip 9. There he is, vetoing the bill.
When you veto something, you don't date it, you don't do anything, you just put not approved on the line. And we have now helped our kids, our trans kids. Thanks, everybody.
We've now helped our kids, our trans kids. Why wouldn't you just create a separate division for trans kids? Why wouldn't you just create a separate division for trans kids? Well, I guess the obvious answer is there wouldn't be enough. So instead, we put boys on the playing field with girls. I mean, this is the epitome of Democrat Party politics. And they cheer it on, and they say, we're doing something good for our kids, something good for our trans kids. And I mean, look, if I'm a accelerationist, then okay, I'm cheering this on. Good. Let's put boys pretending to be girls on the playing field with girls, and they can break all the track records and swimming records and win all the state championships, volleyball and basketball. Like, go ahead, just do it. Go ahead. I'm not an accelerationist, and I don't like committing any evils. That's totally evil. But so now what are you going to have? You're going to have boys dominating girls' sports. And if you have a girls' basketball team, but there's one man that competes in your division, that the man is going to lead that team to a state championship. If you have a swimmer that's a man, is going to dominate in the pool. If you have a runner that's a man, going to dominate on the track. So good. So now you get to do it. So now you get to see it. And what does this create? More Republican voters. And they're going to say, why is that man with a 5 o'clock shadow playing basketball with girls? Why is that man that's 6'2" swimming with young girls? Why is that man breaking all the track records for the state of Wisconsin? Because a liberal Democrat made sure that he could. Got to protect those trans kids. Trans kids. These are sick people. Truly sick. Truly sick. And they just lie to your face. White House leaves out reference to Trans Day of Visibility on Spanish language X account. Yeah, because they know that Hispanics, Latinos, they don't go for that garbage. That's just the white liberal. And then Biden was asked about the Trans Day of Visibility post. He denied it. Even though we've all seen it. It was on Twitter. It was on the official whitehouse.gov site. He just says, nope, didn't do it. I didn't do that. Biden claims never issued Trans Day of Visibility proclamation. Now, the workaround here might be that he actually didn't have anything to do with it, didn't even know about it. I mean, it has his signature on it. It's on the official presidential letterhead. But he might not have known what's going on. So who's really running the White House? So who's posting things in the president's name? Kind of a dangerous precedent, don't you think? And Biden just admitted that's what's going on. Or he lied. So which one is it? Joe Biden lied about the Trans Day of Visibility post, or somebody else in the White House is posting and claiming it's Joe Biden. Somebody else in the White House is posting on the presidential letterhead. Somebody is acting as Joe Biden, the president of the United States, and it's not Joe Biden. Getting lectured by Karine Jean-Pierre. But don't worry, here's what Joe said to Al Roker on Trans Day of Visibility, what others call Easter. Biden tells Al Roker his favorite memories in the White House are his grandkids sneaking into bed with him. Ladies and gentlemen, his grandkids are all adults. What in the hell is he thinking about? What in the hell is he talking about? Biden's favorite memories in the White House are his grandkids sneaking into bed with him. We got a problem. Somebody is acting as the president, sending out presidential statements on presidential letterhead, and it's not Joe Biden. And his favorite memories in the White House are his grandkids sneaking into bed and jumping into his bed. What in the hell is he talking about? What in the hell goes on in the White House? Here's Peter Doocy getting into it with Karine Jean-Pierre over their bloodbath lie in clip 7.
Just a quick point of clarification, Karine. So when Donald Trump is talking about a bloodbath, it is violent rhetoric. What was it when Joe Biden said in 2020, what we can't let happen is let this primary become a negative bloodbath?
So I'm going to be really mindful and careful about Donald Trump, but if you read...
He didn't ask about Donald Trump, though.
He is a candidate.
why Biden
We're talking
says
about the
bloodbath.
2024 election. You should read what he said in its context. So you got to read what he said in context.
Okay, so
bloodbath is an ugly word.
So we did read what he said in context. You lied about it. You made a big fuss about the word bloodbath. That's why Peter Doocy is asking about Biden's use of the word bloodbath. And then you say, well, Trump said it and his context, but we looked at the context and that's the whole problem. I mean, Karine Jean-Pierre, I give her credit. Bless her little heart. And I'm sure it's really small, just like her brain. But she really commits to the Democrat Party lies. I mean, she must really like her job to lie like this and cover up for all the Democrat Party propaganda. Continue.
Uses it? What is it
It's
when
not,
Biden uses it?
No. Let's be very clear. You got to actually ask me the question in context of what it was said, right? And what it was said when he said that, right? In his remarks, in his speech, right? And so that's being disingenuous in your question.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Direct quote from Joe Biden, what we can't let happen is let this primary become a negative bloodbath.
He was talking about a group of people. A group of people. That's what he's talking about. But the president was talking
that's
about...
enough. I can barely stand these people anymore. The scum of the country, Democrat Party, the biggest criminal organization in the history of this country, the Democrat Party. And we have to sit here and deal with it every freaking day. How much more do we have to deal with this, man? We can't take it much more. The world can't take it much more. All right, folks. Alex is out of town this week. That means I'm on double duty shifts. And when I am, my go-to is Turbo Force Plus from InfoWarsStore.com. Why? Because it's 10 hours of clean energy in one scoop. By the way, no crash, no high fructose corn syrup, no massive amounts of processed sugar like all these energy drinks. Doesn't taste like battery acid. Put down your energy drink that's toxic and tastes horrible and has the horrible crash. Get a canister of Turbo Force Plus from InfoWarsStore.com. 40% off right now. 40% off Turbo Force Plus, InfoWarsStore.com. All right. The liberals are suffering from their own policies again, and because they can't think linearly, they don't understand consequence, they don't understand reaction. They have a mental disability that doesn't allow them to see the results of any of the things they promote. Let's take a look at minimum wage. Mass layoffs begin at California fast food chains as $20 minimum wage law takes effect. So they all think, ooh, $20 minimum wage, that means I'm going to be making more money. Actually, it means you're going to be out of a job. It's kind of like, ooh, tax the rich. That means that I'll have more money. Actually, it means that those costs are going to be passed down to you. They can't understand these things. They're liberals. mentally disturbed, and incompetent. So here they are complaining at the results of the minimum wage laws. And, well, is anybody surprised?
And reality sunk in.
Reality sunk in. Oh.
April Fools. Be for real. Not April Fools. I realized that she was not joking.
On a phone call from her general manager informing her the location would not open for business again.
Jarring. It's like, okay, you can go home.
It's hard to take it when there was no notice at all.
The closure comes the same day California's minimum wage for fast food workers rises to $20 an hour. Economic experts have been predicting closures and layoffs in the months leading up to the hike.
Most of the time, if not all of the time, the business owners have to pass those cost increases on to the consumer.
At this Foster's Freeze, the assistant general manager tells us that was supposed to be the plan: increased prices and shortened shifts.
He had actually talked to us like we were preparing to pay $20 an hour. We'll be able to make it work. We're going to raise some prices, but like, we're good. To pay $20 an hour. We'll be able to make it work. We're going to raise some prices, but like, we're good.
That all changed Monday morning. Navarro says the owner told her he just couldn't afford to pay the new minimum wage. And the challenge of finding a new job for some of the people here comes as they're trying to pay tuition for college and deal with other expenses. Also challenging for all involved, both the workers and the business owners, is inflation, making cost cutting all the more difficult.
You see, this is why I get so frustrated, and quite frankly, it's very unprofessional for a talk show host here. But I mean, I can't help myself. It's my pet peeve. I want to be free. I want to prosper. I want common sense. I want everybody to see it this way. And it's frustrating having to deal with such ignorance and incompetence that hurts our way of life and hurts our civilization. And the solutions are so simple. They're so obvious. It's all so clear. This is a perfect example. And I love how the intro to that news piece starts. Reality comes crashing in. I mean, that should be the liberal slogan. Liberals voted for this, and then reality come crashing in. A Democrat voter is a female athlete, and now she competes against men, and reality comes crashing in. A liberal lives in a Democrat city that's now being overwhelmed with illegal immigrants and now infested with crime, and she can't live there and feel safe anymore. Reality comes crashing in. Democrats voted for Joe Biden, and now the cost of living is too high as reality comes crashing in. Democrats voted for minimum wage laws, thinking that it would make them more money, and then reality came crashing in. That's like the theme. Oil prices hit highest levels since 2022. Have you noticed that? Have you noticed the gas prices are up? Seen that? Yeah, I'm sure you have. These 9 states are banning the sale of gas-powered cars. Oh. Liberal Democrats supported the Green New Deal and carbon neutral. Now they live in a pod and eat the bugs as reality came crashing in. And reality has a thing about crashing in. Oh, but it's so frustrating, man, because it's just they're going to destroy us all. What do you mean when we tax the rich that the prices go up? What do you mean when we shut off the gas and energy prices go up and gas prices go up? What do you mean my electric car doesn't work in the winter? What do you mean minimum wage laws priced me out of a job? Yeah, and now you're going to be replaced by AI. Here's the AI coming, clip 11.
Well, the robots have arrived, at least in Pasadena, California.
And reality came crashing
That's where the world's first ever fully autonomous AI-powered.
The company I work for, more money to pay me. That's basic common sense economics. So, of course, the liberal doesn't possess it. They wouldn't be thinking, oh, I need $20 minimum wage, pricing myself out of a job, and then forcing my employer to go hire a robot that they don't have to pay hourly. Instead, it's a one-time cost. And I got to say, I actually feel bad because these are mostly young people that are getting duped into this, and then full-grown jackass Democrat voters that are hurting the young people with this. And so, yeah, I mean, you're working a minimum wage job and you're just trying to pay your bills or get through college or whatever, and now all of a sudden your job is gone because you got deceived by a bunch of liberal retards that voted for bad legislation, and now you're out of a job and a robot has your job. So, hey, man, don't worry. The liberals got you covered, man. And then reality comes crashing in. All right. We got some more insanity breaking here as we close out the transmission. This is from Raw Story. John Eastman's law license yanked in California after judge recommends disbarment. So another Trump attorney that they're attacking illegitimately, like they did Sidney Powell. And so I guess I'm just seeing this, but I guess the angle is to turn him against Trump and say, if you don't want to be disbarred or hell, wind up in prison, then you have to turn against Trump. So this stuff is really, this is just, I mean, we are dealing with the most corruption in this country's history. It's not even close. It's really just unbelievable. So if you defend Donald Trump, they take your law license. Hell, you defend Owen Schroyer, they try to take your law license. If you just post facts and articles about the judge, corrupt judge being paid off by Democrats, in Trump's case, they gag you from talking. But if you're Hunter Biden, you can do basically whatever the hell you want. And you can ignore congressional subpoenas and not show up for hearings. You won't be held in contempt. You won't go to prison like Peter Navarro. And, well, not even to mention the hookers and the drugs, but that's all fine. But then the 10% for the big guy and traveling around the world and meeting with the partners and introducing them to your corrupt vice president father, and then the hidden documents. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. Oh, man. It'll be such a relief. It'll be such a relief if we can remove these corrupt bastards. If we can just get rid of the Democrat Party politically, it will be, I'm telling you, man, it's so frustrating. It's so simple. It's the simplest thing you could ever have. And it's just, there it is. We just can't do it. Tennessee lawmakers give final approval to chemtrails bill. No surprise there.
Yeah. Oh, no, not really. Too cloudy to see anything. They're saying that the next one should happen in like 50,000 years or some shit. The world is ending, my friend. What'd you make for dinner, dog? Capellini, ground beef, tomato sauce. I like it more than just regular spaghetti noodles, so yeah. Fuck. I'll be back.
In this will, a father leaves everything he
What?
In a share play? Okay.